As was mentioned at the end of part 1 of this series, Before the Cock Crows, the serious matter between Robert and Neola Lisardo caused real problems, as will be unfolded as the story is told. And such matters require the wisdom of God to deal with such, and they should not be swept under the carpet, but dealt with in a Christian manner. How would you have dealt with it? Neola had worked with Lucas to prepare our dormitory for the team that was due to arrive. And we had arranged for our team, including Neola and Robert's 2 children, to go on a 7-day tour of Angeles, Olongapo and Baguio cities to preach the gospel in the city jail along with William Pollock. Robert stated he wanted to be involved and come with us, but Neola objected, which caused a problem to us all. This was a matter that needed to be resolved. On my return home from the prison the next day, I sought the mind of God with reference to Robert and Neola, and I believed I had received an answer, which I felt could be put to Robert and Neola and not involve the team. I had said within myself, I did not wish to judge this issue, but would do so if need be, but wanted the wisdom of Solomon. I believe God gave me the answer. On my arrival, I informed Neola I felt I had a solution. She informed me that Gordon and the others were already dealing with it at the moment, and perhaps I should go and join them. Andy MacDonald informed me that they had sorted out the problem with Robert as a team, and it was decided Robert was not to go with us on the 7-day tour, as it would not be right. I felt it was a wrong decision, as there were other things to consider. It would have been far better for Robert to decide not to come if it was causing so much trouble. After all, to be told by others he could not go on the mission when in fact we were guests at his home, this would be very insulting. It was stated I should abide by their decision and not seek to change things. I understood that Gordon, Alistair, Andy, Neola and Catherine had accepted Gordon was correct in his understanding of things, and it would be wrong for me to interfere if I disagreed. I felt Gordon's decision was wrong. As such, issues should have been discussed with me. This was because the team had done something in the corner without my knowledge, and ignoring the wishes of our host. I felt such a decision gave fresh occasion for the devil in Robert's life. I was told I was wrong and I didn't listen, that this was one of my problems. However, from my point of view, I was the director of the mission and had funded the mission, including all the airfares of the team, and I had invited them to come. It was not a democracy. It seemed that my views were so different to theirs. I did things differently. I maintained I was very swift to hear. According to the scripture, it says that we should be swift to hear. So swift that they had not realised I'd heard, and I understood. It so happened that before they realised it, I had another point of view. It was suggested that I had a wrong spirit and I was demonised. I felt I must try to be slower to respond with my views and opinions in order for others not to get the wrong picture. The solution I had was to reason with Robert and ask him to decide not to come, as a goodwill gesture, and as a sign that he acknowledged his wife had a problem, that I did not wish to judge their marital affair, but would help them if asked. I learned later from Alistair, who texted me from the UK in later November, that it was Gordon and Garney who had decided Robert was not to go with us on the 7-day trip to Baguio. The decision that was made had its serious repercussions that we will look at later. The decision proved very damaging to me on our return from Baguio, as Robert took offence at me thinking I had made the decision to exclude him, as he wanted to go to Baguio, as all his family lived there, and he wanted to join our mission. I was no stranger to divorce. I had experienced divorce and all the problems associated with divorce, and as a result was able to put into writing my experience from what I had learned from Scripture about divorce and the roles of men and women in a marriage relationship, and also in the church and society. I had written a section in my book, Mary, Mary Quite Contrary, entitled A Fresh Look at Christian Marriage, which treats the subject of marriage and the relationship between man and wife and the roles of men and women in the church. In this book, I deal with the only grounds of divorce in a Christian marriage and show that marriage was ordained by God to reflect the relationship between Christ and his church. And it was after that I wrote my book, Converted on LSD Trip. All of this meant, together with my current marital problems with my second wife, that I had some experience and qualified to some degree in looking at Neola and Robert Lisardo's marital problems. As the story unfolds, it will be seen that Robert, for his own reasons, sought to have David Clark, the director of Trojan Horse Mission, deported as an undesirable alien in the Philippines. But in the end became firm friends as I sought to help him with his very serious problems. As the story unfolds, we shall see the many hurdles and difficulties that foreigners have to face when visiting a host country,